Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Watch World, and today we are going to be reviewing these two Parnis 36mm Datejust homages, so let's get straight into it. So guys, I hope you're all keeping well. Before we start today's video, a quick wristwatch check as usual. Today I am wearing my Jeff Banks quartz stainless steel dual time with the day date function. So one thing I would like to address before I start this very brief review is I've seen several videos featuring this watch on YouTube, and people have always been calling it the Parnis President. Now, I'm guessing this is in reference to the Rolex President, which this watch is actually in no way paying tribute to. I thought maybe Parnis have themselves called this watch the President, but I could find no reference to that online. The Rolex President is a day-date watch, and it is called the President because the bracelet is known as the Presidential Bracelet. This Parnis watch here, as we can see, comes on a Jubilee bracelet, a completely different style of bracelet altogether. There is also no day function on this watch. It is just a simple date complication at the 3 o'clock, whereas the Rolex Presidential watch is a day-date watch, so it has the day across the day of the week going across the 12 o'clock section of the watch. So why people are referring to this watch as the Parnis President, I'm not so sure. If there's an actual reason behind it or if it is just a mistake. So, to start off, let's take a look at the measurements of these watches. As I said, this is a homage of the Rolex Datejust. These are 36mm, or they're listed as 36mm. So let's see where they come in on our calipers here. There we go, 36mm more or less on the dot. In terms of lug to lug, we have a lug to lug of 43.5mm, so quite a short lug to lug. In terms of thickness, we have in and around 12mm in terms of thickness, and then the bracelet width, or the inner lug width, is around 20mm. So a 20mm strap option would suit this watch just perfect. So inside this watch we actually have a DG2813 automatic movement. We can see it here through the display case back. It's a very cheap off-the-shelf movement, beats at around 21,600 beats per hour, has 21 joules and a 44-hour power reserve. You are also getting hacking and hand wind with this watch, two great functions that are always handy to have. As I said earlier here, we have a Jubilee bracelet. The two-tone is what we can see on both these watches that I have here in front of me, although there are full stainless steel versions of this watch available too. It's a comfortable bracelet, hugs the wrist nicely. The links were easy to remove. As we see here, screw links, so any micro screwdriver will get the job done easily when it comes to removing the pins. I had to take 4 links out on both watches for my 7-inch wrist, 2 on each side of the bracelet. The butterfly clasp of the watch is engraved with the Parnis logo on one side and then just Parnis in writing on the other. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, the crown is also signed with P on it for Parnis, obviously. Just nice little extra attention to detail that the company shows. The 2 pushers here release the clasp fairly easily. It feels quite sturdy. I've had it for a while and never had any issues with with the clasp opening up by itself while I've been wearing it. It's always held sturdy and strong whenever I've had it on the wrist. As we move forward to the dial, we can see that on both watches we have a fluted bezel, and on the outside of the case the date function at 3 o'clock has a Cyclops magnifier, again paying homage to the Rolex Datejust. I'm not a huge fan of magnifiers. This watch, if we can see under the Cyclops, actually is bordered with a gold border to match the markers, which I think is done really nicely. So if they'd have actually left the Cyclops off, it would have been a very good looking watch. But again, it's actually not done too bad. The numbers are easy to read. They've actually done a good job here, Parnis, with the magnifier. On some other cheap homage watches, they're absolutely terrible. So they've done a fairly decent job here with the magnifier. We have different colours on the dials. So we have a champagne dial here and a black dial here. On the champagne dial, we have black writing for Parnis and then all the information on it. And on the black dial version of the watch, we have white writing on the dial. It just says Parnis, and then in smaller writing underneath, automatic in the top half of the watch. And then at the bottom half of the watch, it says 21 joules and water resistant 50M. So we are getting 50 meters of water resistant with these watches. So here's what the watch looks like on my 7-inch wrist. Again, as we said, this is a 36mm watch, and it looks pretty comfortable on the wrist. A good size, not too small. Bracelet is very comfortable as well. Hugs the wrist nicely, and yeah, not a hair puller at all. This is a very comfortable Jubilee bracelet, so Parnis are doing very well with this watch. This is the black dial one I have on my wrist. Just very quickly, we'll take a look at the champagne dial and see how that looks on the wrist. So again, this one with the gold dial is a bit more flashy, maybe for a more special occasion you could wear this one. I think the black would be better for an everyday watch, whereas the gold one would be more for a special occasion. But both watches feel comfortable on the wrist and don't look out of place at all. Perfect size in my opinion. I'm not going to do a lume shot with these watches because, again, with these homage companies, the lume is practically non-existent, and this is no different on the Parnis. There is a little, very thin strip on the hour and hand markers with lume, but again, even when you blow it up with a torch, it's just non-existent and it fades in no time at all. So I'm not even going to bother to show you guys that. So there we have it, guys, a very quick review of the Parnis 36mm Datejust Homage. I think these would be great choices for an everyday watch. Again, as I said, maybe go for the champagne dial if you're feeling a bit flashy or if you're going to a special occasion. Whereas I think the black dial, if you're looking for something more understated and under the radar. I've had them now for around 2 weeks, and they've been keeping excellent time, only losing around 5 seconds a day, which is pretty good, I think, for a cheap Chinese off-the-shelf movement. Both these watches you can get on AliExpress and eBay and a whole host of other websites for under €100. I picked these up, I think it was for, I can't even remember now, I think it was about €80 each. So again, not too expensive, and I think for the price you are getting a very decent watch indeed. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. If you did, please do hit that subscribe button. It really would help out the channel a lot. I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you again very soon. Until then, take care for now, guys.